Hello everybody, this is Solar Tiger with another fish keeping video. Today is in April 2022 and this video is about my Guppy Tanks, tanks plural. So this is my 20-gallon tank, it's 2.5 foot long, it's about 20 gallons, and this is my 4-gallon tank. It's 24 litres, and this is a Guppy Tank 2. So this is my smaller Guppy tank, and this tank has only got male guppies in it. It's a planted tank with Java fern, some moss, a cryptocorin, some Anubias, and some Norwegia, that's the tall plant, just gravel and a sponge filter and a 100-watt heater. And yes, you heard me right, that's a 100-watt heater in a 24-litre tank, but more on that in a moment. If I go back to the other tank, so this is a 20-gallon tank, near enough, and there's a 100-watt heater in this tank too. Now the 100-watt heater is about right for this size of tank. Now, this is my Guppy tank, my large Guppy tank. This one has males and females in it. And pretty much that's a no-no with guppies, because if you have males and females together, you have a guppy factory, and that's just how it works. As I said, the other tank has just males in it. I have two types of guppies. I have the larger type of guppy, these ones, sort of large ones, and I have the small ones that you can see up here, the endless guppies. So I got a mixture of these when I bought them from the pet store. So, and then ideally the endless would be better suited to the small tank and the larger ones to the larger tank, but I have a mixture. And I will show you the other tank. So this tank has a mixture in it, mostly the smaller ones, and they have different tails. Some have a large tail, some have a forked tail, they're all different. So that's what we have in here. So this tank's just all males, which is what you're supposed to do to keep your population under control. So, and I have a 100-watt heater in here because I had a 55-watt one, and that one packed up. And that one packed up in the method it simply stopped heating. So I had this as a spare for the other tank, so I put it in here. And a 100-watt heater is a bit overkill for a 24-litre tank. But since it's working okay, I've left it well alone. And the thermometer says we're just under 80. Even though I turned the heater right down, it still says 80. I suppose that's okay. The fish seem happy, so that's what we're going with. So the heater that was in this tank previously failed in the method that it stopped heating. Now, I had a 100-watt heater in this tank, the standard type with the bimetallic thermostat, which is the most common. The cheap ones all have a bimetallic thermostat, and that's just a strip of metal that turns the heater on and off according to the temperature, which is a simple system that when it works just fine. The issue is with these type of heaters is the thermostat can fail, and they can fail in the on position, and that's what happened to me. The thermostat stuck on, and it heated the water all the time. Now, the temperature I have set the heater to is about 26 degrees Celsius, and that's the temperature I want. Now, with the heater that failed, it kept heating the water, and instead of being around 26 degrees Celsius, the temperature went all the way up to the maximum that this thermometer can show, which is 34 Celsius or 93 Fahrenheit, which is obviously way too hot, and the water was hand hot when you put your hand in it. Fortunately, it didn't affect the fish that much, and they were all okay. So what I did in the end was I simply turned the heater off at the plug and left it while I went trying to get a new heater. So for a few days the temperature was in the low 20s. I mean, around 21, 22 Celsius, which is on the cold side. But it was better than leaving the heater on all the time. So what I've done now is I bought a new heater. The one I had before was a VisiTherm 100 watt heater with the standard bimetallic thermostat. And the one what I bought now is, I will show you the box of the one I bought now. I bought this Aquil, I think that's how you pronounce that, 100 watt heater, but this one is fully electronic. So the thermostat is electronic. There's nothing mechanical in the thermostat that can fail. So what happens is, with the bimetallic ones, is the temperature sensitive metal strip, it closes to turn the heater on, and then the contacts stick together, they weld together. And then when the temperature increases, it can't go open. The contacts can't separate because they're now welded together, and then the heater stays on permanently. And if you don't notice, then your temperature will keep going up and up and up until your fish die. I've seen videos on the internet where people have lost all their fish because the heater thermostat failed and it cooked their fish. So that's another reason why it pays you to keep an eye on a thermometer, to look at it regularly, so that you can catch anything that happens. So I gone with the electronic one. This heater was quite cheap. I bought it on eBay. I made an offer on eBay for £12, and that was accepted. The seller wanted £15, but I offered 12 and accepted. So I got this for £12, brand new. So setting it is quite simple. You simply plug it into the wall after you've inserted it in the tank. You push the button on the top to select the temperature you want, and then the light shows next to the temperature that you have set. It's very simple. It also has a thermometer built in, so the constant light is where you set the temperature. So if it's heating up, then whatever the difference between the current temperature and the temperature you want, the LEDs light up in sequence until it reaches the set temperature, and then you just have the one light on constantly. If the tank water temperature is above what you heat, above the temperature you set, then it shows the difference with the lights until the temperature drops down to the set temperature. So it's quite simple. So this is a 100 watt heater, suitable for tanks between 60 and 100 litres. My other tank is about 86 litres, I worked out. I rounded, I always say it's about 20 gallons, because that size of tank, physical size of the tank, is a 20 gallon long. So that's what we got. So for this 24 litre tank, a 50 watt heater would be more suitable. And if this goes well, then I may replace this heater with an electronic one as well, just as an insurance thing that the thermostat can't get stuck like my other one has. If you do a search on YouTube, you'll find videos for other people that have had this problem, and I just keep guppies in my tank, which are very inexpensive, so if they all died, not such a big deal. But if you keep more expensive fish in a big tank, then if this happened, you could lose a lot of money. So I go back to the other tank. So if you have a big tank with expensive fish in it, then what most people would do is they connect their heater to a controller, external controller that has a temperature probe that goes into the tank, and they set the heater temperature slightly higher than the temperature they want, and then set the actual temperature they want on the external controller. So the external controller is always actually controlling the temperature, not the built-in thermostat. But equipment like that is expensive. I'm doing things on a budget. I'm only keeping guppies, which are an expensive type of fish. So I'm just going with a heater with an electronic thermostat, because my other one failed in the on position. So you can see in the back, I can focus, you can see that the light is on, and it's on next to the set temperature. And as I said, I set it to 26 degrees Celsius, which is approximately 78 Fahrenheit. Now, you can see the heaters in the back there. The stick-on thermometer says 24 to 25 over here, but I bought a in-glass alcohol thermometer that I put on the opposite side of the tank, and we got here, I don't know, about 23 shown here. So on this side of the tank, on the opposite side from the heater, which is over there, we have 23 degrees over here. So that's going okay, and I can keep an eye on this all the time. Right, so that's that. Okay, so the other part of this video is that I have males and females in here, which is a bit of a no-no with guppies because they breed so easily. So a question I'd like to ask people out there on YouTube is, I would like some kind of fish that I could introduce to keep on top of the guppy fry. You probably can't see, but there is some fry here. So what I've been doing is probably a bit controversial, but every time I did a water change, I scooped out some of the fry, and controversially, I threw them out with the water, because that's the only thing that I could do. I don't have anyone that I can give fish to, and nobody would want guppy fry anyway, and that's what I do. It's controversial, I accept that. So what I'd like to do is, I'd like to ask if I could find, if any people could recommend a small predator fish that I could introduce to control the guppy fry, that can just eat the really small ones. So I'd like a fish that would be nice to look at, not grow huge. I only want them that was quite small, maybe no bigger than, say, 2 inches. Something that's cheap to buy and easy to look after, that you can buy from a pet store like Pets at Home in the UK. So, you know, a pet shop, not a specialist fish store. There are none where I live. So I'd want a small predatory fish to control my guppy fry. So something no bigger than, say, 2 inches long, that's easy to keep and cheap to buy, that won't harm the large guppies, and the one, you probably can't see, but right there I have one Otto sinkless catfish, and I do have 1 or 2 Amano shrimp. So a fish that wouldn't bother my Otto or my shrimp. So any suggestions on that, please? So, and would I need just 1 maybe, or 2? 1 or 2 maybe. I don't want to spend lots of money, and must be available from the pet store. So any suggestions on that would be welcome. I've tried doing research, but I get different answers. So I want a small fish, no bigger than say 2 inches, that can live in standard ordinary tap water to control the very small guppy fry. So any suggestions on that? This is my tank, and I'd like to say thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye. This is Solar Tiger saying goodbye and thank you for watching. Thank you.